Biz Markie changed hip-hop, and not really for his flow.
Show us your style, man.
My name is Biz Markie, the human Ongenstein.
He had no talent. That's what some of hip-hop's biggest legends were saying about Biz Markie. The guy known as the clown prince of hip-hop, the wild beatboxer singing off-key love songs, was secretly caught in 4 nasty rap conflicts that almost wrecked his whole career. This isn't the version people usually tell. This is the story of why major rap names once couldn't stand Biz Markie and how those clashes changed hip-hop forever. We're getting into the stories people rarely talk about, and what happened next was straight chaos. Back in 1987, the Bronx and Queens were going at each other hard. Hip-hop started in the Bronx, everybody knew that. The parks, block parties, community centers, all of it came from there. But by the mid-80s, Queensbridge was blowing up fast. They had Mr. Magic on radio, Marley Marl making hits in the studio, and the Juice Crew stacked with polished rappers chasing mainstream fame. Biz Markie was right in the middle of it. The Bronx felt totally disrespected. To them, it looked like their role in creating hip-hop was getting erased. Then MC Sean dropped The Bridge, a track many people felt claimed hip-hop started in Queensbridge. That set everything off. KRS-One and Scott LaRock from Boogie Down Productions fired back with brutal diss records in what became the famous Bridge Wars, and Biz Markie got pulled right into the smoke. Everybody knows The Bridge is over, but another track came directly at Biz. It was called You Can't Win, and KRS-One wasn't holding back. He rapped about celebrity clubs and staged shows where the winners were picked before people even walked in. He was clearly taking shots at Biz Markie's growing fame in Manhattan's club scene. By 1987, Biz was becoming a real star. He was rocking upscale venues that Boogie Down Productions saw as fake commercial spots. To KRS-One, those places didn't represent true hip-hop culture. Then the attacks got even more personal. KRS-One basically said Biz wasn't the best, wasn't a real top MC, and couldn't survive a serious rap battle. That hit hard because Biz was never trying to rap like Rakim or Kool G Rap. His style was different. He was a performer, a beatboxer, a funny personality, almost like a one-man show bringing energy and laughs to hip-hop. But to KRS-One, that style didn't earn respect. To KRS-One, only pure lyrical skill mattered. Only real MCS deserved respect.
People told me not to make the record, it was not good. I go with my heart. I knew what the record could do. I believed in the record, so.
By that mindset, Biz Markie didn't belong. In their eyes, he was a clown sitting in a spot he never earned. This wasn't just 2 rappers throwing insults around. It turned into a bigger fight over what hip-hop was supposed to be. Should it stay raw and street-focused like the Bronx wanted, or could it become fun, commercial, and entertaining like Queens was pushing?
There's wrestling stars, and I'm the best, and I'm gonna beat you like this.
Like us, we don't say that we're the best. We just out here to do our God's duty to rock the house.
Biz became the face of everything KRS-One believed was hurting hip-hop. For about a year, the hate felt very real. But years later, KRS-One admitted parts of the beef were more like a performance. He explained they were always cool underneath it all. The real tension lasted maybe 6 months before it turned into something closer to professional wrestling, keeping the rivalry alive because it brought attention and money. Big Daddy Kane, Biz's closest friend in the Juice Crew, stayed friends with KRS-One the entire time. Still, even if some of it was show business, the impact stuck. In the late 80s, if you supported Boogie Down Productions, you were expected to see Biz Markie as soft, fake, and too commercial for real hip-hop culture.
So battling isn't really something you do all the time?
Y'all don't even do that in New York no more.
Battle. I came up here with the idea to battle. I was really against it, but that's what they wanted to do, so I tried to give them what they wanted. I don't like the battle. There's no need for battling. My records speak for me.
Then, another wave of criticism hit from a completely different angle: race. Before the Beastie Boys became respected hip-hop legends, they were highly controversial. A lot of artists saw them as outsiders in a black art form, and Biz Markie became one of their loudest critics. The late 1980s had hip-hop in a tense place when it came to identity and culture. Black artists had already seen rock and jazz get taken over by white performers who became huge stars while many original creators got pushed aside. Because of that history, there was real fear that hip-hop could end up the same way. Then the Beastie Boys dropped License to Ill in 1986. and the tension got even worse. The album mixed party lyrics, rock guitars, and wild frat boy energy, and suddenly it became the first rap album to hit #1 on the Billboard 200. That success shocked people. Major groups like Run DMC and Public Enemy hadn't even reached that level yet, so to many artists, this felt like a dangerous sign. Biz Markie went hard at the Beastie Boys. Reports from that time say he openly questioned whether they truly respected hip-hop or were just benefiting from being white rappers. Biz took the culture seriously. He was obsessed with rare funk and soul records, always digging deep for music most people never heard before. To him, the Beastie Boys' early style felt lazy. Instead of hunting for hidden samples like hardcore hip-hop heads, they leaned heavily on familiar rock sounds. Biz saw them as outsiders stepping into black culture for profit. Then, everything shifted in 1989. The Beastie Boys released Paul's Boutique. At first, the album didn't sell well, but creatively it blew people away. Produced by the Dust Brothers, it packed in hundreds of samples from all kinds of music, from Johnny Cash to obscure funk records. The album was layered, experimental, and showed serious musical knowledge that even tough critics respected. When Biz Markie heard Paul's Boutique, his whole opinion changed. He realized the Beastie Boys weren't outsiders just chasing trends. They were true music heads obsessed with digging through vinyl the same way he was. That shared love for sampling helped break down the tension between them. By 1994, Biz was even in the studio with the Beastie Boys, singing a wild off-key version of Elton John's Benny and the Jets on their album, Ill Communication. It became a real sign of peace between both sides. The Beastie Boys showed respect to the Juice Crew by bringing Biz onto the album, and Biz showed he accepted them as part of hip-hop culture by joining in.
The meaning of this word, without no doubt, means nobody wanna be down when you're down and out. Now when you got a house and then you got money, everybody wanna be your buddy and honey.
Years later, when the group released their memoir, they talked heavily about their friendship with Biz and praised his deep knowledge of digging for rare records. The early criticism eventually got viewed differently, more like skepticism the Beastie Boys earned their way past through creativity and skill. But not every Biz Markie conflict ended peacefully. The next situation turned personal and involved money, and the damage never fully disappeared. Granddaddy IU was a young rapper from Hempstead, Long Island. In the late 80s, his brother handed Biz a demo tape. Biz liked what he heard and helped sign IU to Cold Chillin' Records in 1989.
It was like you and Biz freestyle.
Oh, Biz Markie?
Yeah.
Ooh, rest in peace,
Yeah.
big bro. What?
You and Biz freestyle, and I think it was like
Yeah, Montebello.
Yeah,
where's
yeah.
Montebello or Monticello Park.
a park in Queens.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a crazy freestyle.
Yeah, shout
You know
out to
what I'm saying?
Biz. He wasn't selfish, feel me?
Absolutely.
Like, he wasn't afraid to make connections
Yeah.
with people
It's very
without
generous,
being
yup.
in it, without trying to orchestrate it. He can bring you to the water, but he couldn't make you drink. And that's what he did for a lot of
Yeah,
people.
Biz he brought a lot of
very
people to the
unselfish.
water.
Biz Executive produced IU's debut album, Smooth Assassin, in 1990. And at that point, the balance of power was obvious. Biz was already a major star, while IU was still trying to break into the industry. What happened next stayed with Granddaddy IU for years. According to IU, Biz Markie took half of his publishing rights from the Smooth Assassin album. In music, publishing means ownership of the songwriting, the money earned whenever songs get played, performed, or licensed. For rappers, that's often the real long-term money. IU claimed he wrote most of the lyrics himself, but the credits and royalties were still split with Biz, even though Biz allegedly contributed very little to the writing. IU later said contracts were handled without him fully knowing or approving what was happening, and he felt completely cheated. Back then, it was common for established artists to take a percentage from younger talent they helped discover. Some called it business. IU saw it as straight-up exploitation. For him, it shattered the excitement of entering the music world. He realized the industry could be ruthless, where mentors sometimes benefited more than the artists they were supposed to help. The problems didn't stop there. IU also claimed he secretly wrote lyrics for Biz Markie and even other Juice Crew names like Roxanne Shante without getting proper public credit or fair payment.
One of your best and biggest records on the street is The Vapors. Tell us the story behind The Vapors.
Oh, check this out. Here's how it go. Westwood, TV, and even the press said what's the meaning of VAPORS.
While Biz kept building fame and making touring money, IU believed he was left with far less than he earned. That bitterness never really faded. IU became deeply frustrated with the music business. After releasing his second album, Lead Pipe, in 1994, with barely any promotion, he stepped away from rap for almost 10 years. Granddaddy IU openly blamed his disappointment with the music business on Biz Markie and Cold Chillin' Records. Unlike the KRS-One rivalry, which later got described as partly entertainment, this situation never healed. IU carried that resentment for the rest of his life. Even in interviews before his death in 2022, IU still talked about feeling robbed. He used his experience as a warning for younger artists, stressing how important it was to read contracts carefully and keep ownership of their music rights. Then came the fourth and biggest conflict, and this one came from outside hip-hop completely. It involved British singer-songwriter Gilbert O'Sullivan, and the fallout changed the music industry forever. In 1991, Biz released his third album, I Need a Haircut. One track, Alone Again, heavily used elements from Gilbert O'Sullivan's 1972 hit, Alone Again. The production didn't just borrow a small drum break, it used major parts of the melody and pieces of the original vocal hook. At that time, sampling worked very differently in hip-hop. Groups like Public Enemy, De La Soul, and the Beastie Boys often treated samples like creative building blocks instead of material needing strict legal approval. Biz Markie's label actually did contact O'Sullivan's publishers asking for permission, but Gilbert O'Sullivan rejected the request completely. Reports from that time say he felt strongly about how the sample was being used, especially because his original song dealt with heavy emotional themes like loneliness, grief, and depression, while Biz's version came across much more playful and comedic. To Gilbert O'Sullivan, the sample completely disrespected the meaning of his original song. Even after permission was denied, Warner Brothers still released the album with the sample included. That decision exploded into a major lawsuit. The case, Grand Upright Music versus Warner Brothers Records, landed in federal court in New York with Judge Kevin Thomas Duffy in charge. His ruling shocked the entire music world. Judge Duffy opened the decision with the biblical line, "Thou shalt not steal." That set the tone immediately. He ruled that using samples without approval counted as copyright infringement. The court blocked sales of I Need a Haircut and even referred the case to federal prosecutors for possible criminal charges, though no charges were ever filed. Gilbert O'Sullivan hated what Biz did with his song, but after the ruling, many people inside hip-hop became frustrated with the situation surrounding Biz Markie too, because the fallout changed everything. Before this case, sampling in hip-hop was mostly wild and unrestricted. Producers grabbed sounds from anywhere and transformed them into something brand new. After the ruling, every sample had to be legally cleared and paid for before release. That completely changed hip-hop production. Albums packed with hundreds of samples, like Paul's Boutique or Public Enemy's It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back, suddenly became almost impossible to afford. Clearing all those samples cost too much money, and producers were forced to reinvent their sound. Producers started moving away from stacking obscure samples and shifted toward replaying melodies with live musicians or using synth-heavy production like Dr. Dre's G-Funk sound. Hip-hop's whole style began changing fast. Biz Markie unexpectedly became the face of that massive industry shift. His next album was even called All Samples Cleared, showing Biz on the cover wearing a judge's wig. The title sounded funny, but behind the joke was a serious reality. That lawsuit had changed hip-hop forever and put major limits on how producers could create music. These four conflicts reveal something important about Biz Markie. He wasn't hated because he didn't matter. He was hated because he had influence. The battle with Boogie Down Productions showed how important his place in hip-hop had become. Nobody starts a rap war with someone irrelevant. The tension with the Beastie Boys showed how protective Biz was over hip-hop culture, while their eventual friendship proved the genre could grow past old divisions. The problems with Granddaddy IU exposed the harsh business side, hiding behind the fun-loving image people saw on TV and in music videos. Then the Gilbert O'Sullivan lawsuit locked Biz into music history forever, marking the moment copyright law started tightening control over hip-hop creativity. What many people overlook is that Biz survived every one of these controversies. He took shots from KRS-One and kept making music. He dealt with criticism over culture and race, then later worked alongside artists he once openly questioned. Biz Markie survived accusations about money, betrayal, and shady business deals, and somehow his reputation still stayed strong. He became the face of a legal mess that changed music history forever, then flipped it into humor by putting himself in a judge's wig on an album cover. Most artists would have folded under that kind of pressure. When Biz passed away in 2021, the reaction said everything. KRS-One, the Beastie Boys, and artists across hip-hop showed him love and respect. The old hate was gone. What remained was recognition for everything he represented during hip-hop's most chaotic years. These conflicts weren't just random rap beefs. They reflected bigger battles over authenticity, money, race, ownership, and survival inside the music industry itself. Biz stood right in the middle of all of it. To some people, he represented commercial hip-hop. To others, he symbolized change, creativity, and the risks that came with pushing the culture forward. But through every controversy, Biz kept smiling, beatboxing, performing, and making people laugh. That's what made him different. A lot of the criticism aimed at Biz wasn't really about him personally. It was about the fears and tensions hip-hop was dealing with as it grew into a global business. And maybe that's his real legacy. Not just the funny records or classic beatboxing, but surviving hip-hop's toughest growing pains while still ending up loved by the culture. So what do you think? Were these rivalries justified, or was Biz Markie just an easy target for the industry's frustrations? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with another hip-hop fan.